So we had been warned about a great deal of potential violence or chaos, or at least demonstrations on Inauguration Day. It was something we here at the Damage Report were worried about. Although we did say in advance, there's the possibility that like on Election Day, it won't actually materialize. The FBI issued warnings last week that it had intel about armed protests at the Capitol buildings in all 50 states. Police were mobilized, National Guard was mobilized, and all of that. Remember, we had heard that tens of thousands of armed individuals were gonna go to DC specifically. I'm imagining once they heard there would be 20,000 National Guard troops, that took the wind out of the old sails a little bit. But not just in DC, because not only have there been no incidents of violence at state capitals as of Wednesday late, but at many of them, the number of MAGA protesters could be counted on one hand. And I want to show you some examples. So here you have the New York State Capitol. Mark Ligero is the only one. It is not often that we can read all the names of all of the people at the protest, but we just did. Drove 45 minutes. That sucks. Let's see, Jefferson City. We have a handful of people, 5 or so. Not bad, not bad. Let's see, in North Carolina, we have a couple of people, and Biden's an imposter. I don't know if he means that colloquially or if he believes that a face-off situation is happening with someone else. I don't know. Here in Austin at the Texas Capitol building, we have a couple of people and a sign that says socialism is slavery. I love hearing about what other things are slavery from people that also undoubtedly believe that slavery wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's more, but not a lot of people. There's other protests, but not a lot of people. So it didn't actually happen. What do you know?
Yeah, that's the good news. You're right, good. And honestly, maybe it's the presence of an actual police force there, where they made it clear that they're not going to go through this again. And hey, maybe you shouldn't show up and try to get yourself arrested and pose in front of the cameras with you stealing things out of federal buildings. Maybe that was part of it. Maybe that was part of it, or maybe the other part of it was, and this is me 100% speculating. If there's no violence, what are we here for? A peaceful protest? And what are we protesting? It's over. So the motivation behind it being that you can actually somehow get Trump back in office was their first one, and they believed that because he kept telling them. And then number two, and if it doesn't work, we can at least go shooting and hanging people and kidnapping them. That kind of did work out, but not fully. And so now that there was an actual response prepared for it, they're like, well, this is boring. Let's not show up to this.
Yeah, totally. And like, so you see like the huge number. By the way, people are mentioning that Sprocket's doing his tap dancing lessons anyway. Adorable. And we totally have to have a Sprocket emoji for the chat soon. We're gonna work on that. But yeah, so they had 20,000 troops, which is obviously it was horrendous to see. It's obviously a great expense. Was it unnecessary? Or was it the thing that stopped something from happening? We don't know. The fact that stuff at the state capitals didn't really happen implies that maybe there wasn't really much to it, but we had just experienced 2 weeks before the attack on the Capitol. And so I'm glad that they erred on the side of security. And I have a hard time believing that all of those people who were willing to do what they did on the 6th are just gone and have repledged to a life of peaceful protest and acceptance of the other party winning the presidency. Yeah, so glad to have been wrong, and I love admitting that I'm wrong. But yeah,
it's similar to gun measures, and after we have some kind of mass shooting, and then we'll put in these measures, but they say, oh, they keep happening. Well, they keep happening because we haven't done anything. And maybe the measures we have done, they say, look at these lib cities, and they've got these strict gun laws, and there still was a shooting there. Well, how many shootings were not there because of those strict gun laws? We don't know, because those shootings didn't happen, and that's good. So although we still have too many, because one is too many, putting in measures to take care of those problems, if they work, you won't see the exact results. You won't see the shooter come. Yeah, so I was planning on June 17th to go shoot up the mall, but you know what? They put in these regulations and actually took away my guns. I guess I can't do it anymore. See you later, MSNBC. Thanks for the interview. No, it's not gonna be that way. They're not gonna promote what they were trying to do and they were thwarted from doing. So it's continue to do the right thing, and it will hopefully people now survive that potentially would have been victims.
Exactly. Now, with that, let's turn to something from yesterday that was a little bit more fun than the sad lone Trumper outside of state capitol. Oh, how alone you must feel. Oh, God.
No, my favorite part.
But anyway,
sorry, John. My favorite part of that was one person said, I was kicked off of Facebook, so I showed up and I had no idea that we weren't doing it anymore because we communicate on Facebook to do these things. So in other words, these bans that everyone's complaining about are serving their purpose. Now, I'm assuming this guy would have participated in bad action, so that's my fault for making those assumptions. But I'm making it based off of what has happened in the very, very near past of what we just experienced a couple weeks ago. So I don't think it's that much of an assumption to make. But the fact that he was now lonely because he can't communicate with his fellow insurrectionists, sorry again to call him that, I think is a good move.
Yeah, and by the way, in terms of him being taken off, like, I know, again, whenever there's a conversation nationally about the First Amendment and free speech, it's about, hey, this powerful rich white man had consequences. People get taken off of Facebook and Twitter all the time for basically nothing. That is not new, by the way, and it's also not a part of these national conversations. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.